What's this? A letter for me.
Welcome to another episode of Remember the Great Sports Through the Mail Thursdays. Today I'm going to share with you 3 envelopes that I recently got back, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about the individuals that I got back through the mail. So let's jump right into this, and the first one is returned from former Detroit Tiger Johnny Grubb on 1, 2, 3 as a Tiger, and a 4th on one of my senior league cards. So decided to contact another senior league player and add another one to my collection. Johnny Grubb grew up in Richmond, Virginia, attended high school in Richmond, Virginia, then later went to college to play at Florida State University. This is another one of those players that was drafted multiple times out of high school along with his junior college, but finally did not sign until after he was drafted in the first round in the 1971 draft by the San Diego Padres. Well, at the time, San Diego was a relatively new team, and Grubb spent a couple years in the minor leagues, 1971 and 72, with the Padres, and made his debut at the end of the 1972 season. Well, he must have made a pretty good impression, because going into 1973, one of the outfield spots was his, and he responded in batting .311 in 113 games his rookie season with the Padres. Well, the following year, he would be appearing in 140 games with the Padres, batting .286, and making his first and only All-Star appearance for the San Diego Padres, representing them in the outfield. He would spend a couple more seasons with San Diego in 1975 and 76 until the Padres decided to trade him to the Cleveland Indians for George Hendrick. He would spend a couple more seasons in Cleveland, putting together a couple pretty decent seasons, before he was then traded to the Texas Rangers towards the end of the 1978 season. He would spend from 1978 all the way through 1982 playing the outfield for the Texas Rangers. Well, in the off-season, right before spring training, Texas Rangers decided to send him to the Detroit Tigers. At this point in his career, he was primarily used as a backup outfielder, or the 4th outfielder, bat off the bench, and he arrived in Detroit at the age of 34 years old. Well, he would become a part of the 1984 world champion Detroit Tigers, and he would finish up his career after the 1987 season with Detroit. However, he did spend one more year in organized baseball at 39 years old, playing in AAA for the Atlanta Braves organization. So overall, Mr. Grubb played 16 years in the major leagues and appeared in about 1,400 total games. His lifetime batting average is .278, which is, pretty good for a left-handed hitting outfielder. And so obviously after he was finished up with the Braves, he did spend a year in the senior league. And after he retired from baseball, I'm not sure if he got into coaching or not. I couldn't really find much on that, but it said that he was involved in coaching at the high school level back in his home state of Virginia. So this is actually my second attempt to writing Mr. Grubb. I don't know, it's probably been years since I last tried, but I sent a request out years ago. Maybe it got lost in the mail or in transit, because I've seen a lot of other people have success with him, so it didn't make a whole lot of sense for me why he didn't sign for me. But, sometimes the Postal Service loses things, so you just never know. So very happy to add these to my collection. All right, so this next one's postmarked from California, and it is former Houston Astro great Joe Sambito on 1. Also played for the Red Sox towards the end of his career on 2. And to round out the 4, 1 and 2 senior league cards. So a couple more senior league cards out of the set signed. Sambito, was born in Brooklyn, New York, attended high school in New York, and also attended college in New York at Adelphi University. He was drafted in the 17th round of the 1973 draft. Immediately after being drafted, he spent the 1973 season in the minor leagues. He worked his way up through 1976 to get a call up to the major leagues in 1976, where he appeared in 20 games and started 4 of those for the Astros. Well, going into the 77 season, he actually became a reliever for the Astros, and he would post a excellent record, going 5-5 with a 2.33 ERA. Going into the 1978 season, he was starting to be used a little bit more as a closer. And from 1978 through 1981, Sambito actually led Houston in saves with a career-high 22 saves and a 1.78 ERA in 1979. This was also a season in which he posted a string of 40 2/3 consecutive innings without allowing an earned run and was named to the National League All-Star team that year. He started in 1982 with 4 saves and a .71 ERA in 9 appearances, but it was soon discovered that he had bone chips and had damage to a ligament in his pitching elbow. He missed the rest of the season and all of the 1983 season recuperating from Tommy John surgery. The next 2 years, he failed in comeback attempts with both Houston and, after Houston let him go, the New York Mets. Sambito made a 3rd comeback attempt and with the Red Sox out of spring training in 1986. He would go on to post a 2-0 record that year with the Red Sox, eventually helping lead the team to the World Series, which we all know what happened in the 86 series with the Mets and Bill Buckner and all that. He would go into the 1987 season with the Red Sox at 35 years old. However, he would have some struggling issues with his command, and after the 87 season was let go by the Red Sox. Well, in 1988, he returned home to sign with the Houston Astros. However, the Astros did not call him up during the 1988 season, sending him strictly to AAA. However, while he was in AAA, he posted a 2-2 record with an ERA under 3 in 34 appearances at 36 years old. You would have thought that he would have got at least a 40-man call-up with those kind of numbers in AAA, despite his age. So after that season, he retired from baseball. According to his Wikipedia page, he kind of became a financial analyst, like player consultant type, and he relocated to California, and that is what he does to this day. He helps consult major league players with their finances, which is still admirable that he's still involved with the game in some capacity. So thank you very much, Mr. Sambito. I appreciate adding those to the collection as well. All right, this final one is former New York Yankee, Pittsburgh Pirate, University of Southern California great, Steve Kemp, on 4, including 2 senior league cards. So another return from some senior leaguers. And let me tell you a little bit about Steve Kemp. Kemp, as mentioned, played his historic career at USC, University of Southern California, under Hall of Fame coach Rod Dedeaux. The Trojans won 5 consecutive World Series titles in the early 70s under Dedeaux, and Kemp was part of the last 2 in 1973 and 74. Kemp was the first overall selection in the January phase of the 1976 Major League Baseball draft, taken by the Detroit Tigers, and he played just 1 season in the minor leagues. Starting the 1977 season in the majors, he was immediately installed as the Tigers' starting left fielder. During his major league career, Kemp played for the Detroit Tigers, the Chicago White Sox, the New York Yankees, the Texas Rangers, and the Pittsburgh Pirates. He predominantly played the outfield with occasional appearances at DH and first base. His best season was with the Tigers in 1979 when he hit .318 with 26 home runs and 105 driven in. Kemp was selected for the American League All-Star team in '79. After his major league days ended, he played a season in the senior league, which, as we can see there, just showed you my phone. Okay. Kemp appeared in a total of 1,168 games over 11 seasons. He posted a career .278 batting average, so very similar to Johnny Grubb, with 581 runs, 179 doubles, 25 triples, and 130 home runs. He finished his career with a .982 fielding percentage, playing left and right field. I also want to say, this isn't on his Wikipedia page, but I want to say he was involved maybe in coaching. I may be incorrect there, so I'm not going to talk too much about that. But overall, very happy to get this success back. Steve Kemp was a very good player for a very long time for a number of teams. I also want to thank Mr. Sambito for signing as well. And I also want to thank Mr. Grubb for also signing. These are all players that I vividly remember getting, cards when I was opening packs as a kid. Most of these are from later in their careers, like the Kemp is an 86 and the Sambito and the Grubb is a 87 tops. I remember buying packs and getting those cards. I remember seeing the Johnny Grubb card because he's a little bit older looking in that photo. I'm like, is that a coach? And little did I know who Johnny Grubb was at the time, but because he looks more mature than your average player, I just assumed he was a manager because he's wearing that jacket and standing around, but he was actually a player at that point in his career. I'm going to flip his card over real quick here. You can see all the stats on the back of that. That just tells you how good of a player that he was if he had that many major league stats on the back of a card. And I want to mention, this is how you used to look at stats. This was the only way you could learn about a baseball player. There was no internet. Maybe you might have a book, but this is how you learned about what Johnny Grubb batted in 1975 or whatever. And so, very happy to add all these to my collection. Look forward to your comments below. Thanks for watching.